So we're going to countersink these holes so that these screws, itty bitty little number 440s, will fit down in that countersink, make it look good. Now you can use a normal 440 standard head on it. And you just keep countersinking until that fits flush. Just a little bit at a time. There we go. Okay, so now we have a flush surface there, and then we have two protruding screws, two more there, and what we'll do is we'll slip a lock washer on that, and then we slip on a hex, I call it a hex screw, I call it a jack screw, and that'll slip on there. The jack screw or the hex screw, jack nut, they're those little threaded nut combo screws that go on the end of RS-232 cables. That's one use for them. Okay, so I've got the board, and I highly recommend that you drill this before you assemble it. Now this board was modified from my previous case. I will probably end up using it there, but right now it's the only one I've got together. So in this case I've only got 2 holes to drill. The other 2, the case, I had to cut them off to make them fit. But I do recommend you use 4 holes completely. In my other case it's a slot system, so it falls down inside some slots and locks in. So I don't even need holes in it. But in this case I highly recommend, because of the weight of the board and the length of it and the width, that we actually drill all 4. But I'm going to go through the motions here. So that board's going to sit right down in there with just a little bit of clearance from the wall. Actually, I'm not positive here, but those 2 screws here might be right there, and I might actually be able to put some washers on there and hold it in place. So let's drill the board. These pads are always in the same place in relation to the center of the board. So you may decide to use a bigger board or smaller board, but the dimensions between the 4 pads will always be the same. Okay, so what I've experienced in drilling these is that sometimes the pads will pull off. So take it slow. If the pad comes off, it's no big deal. Remember, this is just the pilot. Okay, so now I'm back to my 7 64s. I'm just going to take it real slow. Like I mentioned, the pad did come off. But the pad is just there so you know where center is. Doesn't serve any other purpose. Take your countersink and just brush off the fiberglass. Knock off the edge. Maybe a thin, little rough edge in the metal there. Just clean that up. So the drilled holes on these studs is very tight. It's barely slipping on there. So there's not a lot of tolerance. And then there's a little bit of air when you drill, so I'm not quite lining up. I can see I'm right in there, but I want to make these holes just a slight bit bigger. There we go.